But as I was writing and trying to find the courage to publish my work, I found a book by a first-time author named Adam Braun, who wrote about the lessons he'd learned and the challenges he'd overcome starting the organization Pencils of Promise. And even though we'd come from very different backgrounds and were at different places in our lives, I could relate to so many of the experiences and emotions that he shared in his book. And when I finished reading it, I found an article online in which he talked about the process of publishing his book. And what I found really surprised me. Even though he'd been so successful, he said that he had been afraid to share his work just the way I was. He said he'd pictured thousands of people reading the personal story he'd written and judging him. And I thought, that was one of the most inspiring books I've ever read. How could the author ever have been afraid to publish it? And in that moment, I realized that if you have a story that has the potential to inspire someone, or to let just one other person know that they are not alone, then you have a responsibility to share that story. We have the ability to inspire other people simply by being who we are. And it doesn't mean we have to be successful or have all the answers. We just have to be honest and open about our insecurities. The people who've inspired me the most in my life are not the people who pretend like they have everything figured out, but those who are willing to share their insecurities and talk about the challenges that they are facing in their lives. Whether it's a bully, a TV star, a best-selling author, or a friend, every single person we encounter in our lives has dealt with heartache, failure, and has doubted themselves at some point in their lives. And I'd be lying if I stood up here and told you that I've learned how to be myself and feel like I am good enough. I still beat myself up about things I did years ago, and I'm always worried about what people are thinking of me. And since publishing my book, I've had to confront a lot of these fears that I'm not good enough by dealing with criticism that I've received on my work. I had a woman laugh at me and ask what a 21-year-old could possibly have to say that would be worth reading. And I've had friends look at the cover and tell me that I'm narcissistic for writing a book about my experiences and putting my face on the cover. And to be honest, I would probably think the same thing if I were judging the book by its cover. But the first time that someone read it and told me that it helped get them through a difficult time, and a stranger told me that it was one of the most inspiring books they'd ever read, all those fears of not being good enough didn't matter anymore. What I'm starting to learn is that there's no real reason to be afraid of other people's judgment. Because at the end of the day, the meanest critic you're ever going to face is the person you see when you look in the mirror. So what if we shifted our focus from thinking, I'm not enough, to I am enough? What if we recognize that we don't need to do anything to prove that we belong? We already do. As I said, I'm still trying to figure out what it means to be yourself, and I'm not sure if I'll ever get it right. But it's a challenge that I don't think any of us should have to go through alone. Thank you.